We start a season, there is so much time to prepare a season, and they just want to change the rules. I just practice with the wrong race car.
Also a way to practice.
Yeah, for sure.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of Throttle Alley. For those who don't know me, I'm Gil Ramos, CEO and co-founder of Imagify Visual Studio, the company behind Gil's content. Joining me on this podcast, Gil Linster, full-time EuroNascar driver and also part-time driver in the US.
Thanks for having me.
During this podcast, we'll discuss topics related to EuroNascar and motorsports. But before we dive into today's topic, give us a brief insight into EuroNascar and its format.
EuroNascar actually comes from the American NASCAR. It's a European series, so most of the races are on the road courses, like Formula One tracks. And yeah, it's a little different style than in America. For sure, we have already a big difference in the driver setup. So we have one car for two drivers. One is driving the EuroNascar Pro, one is driving EuroNascar 2. I'm the EuroNascar 2 driver. Liam Hesemans is my teammate driving the EuroNascar Pro. And yeah, the races are one on Sunday, one on Saturday for me, and for Liam exactly the same. So actually, we start always Saturday. No, actually, Liam starts Saturday first race, and I take the second race. And then Sunday we switch. I start the first race, and Liam the second race. He has his points, I have my points, and we have some points together. Then you have a third championship. It's called the Club Challenge. So actually, that's for the gentleman driver or the new driver. They don't have a real race, so they race actually against the time. So the organization set a time, then you need to try to get as close as possible to that time. What closer you are, what more points you have, and then you can win the club challenge.
Something that is important to mention is that you also have a second car in the team, which is in this case Martin Dubak, also driving the EuroNascar 2 and the Pro, competing against you and Liam at the same time during one race event.
Exactly. There's some driver they actually have the car and they drive one like Pro and 2. That means a little bit more practice, 2 qualifyings and a lot more time to race. And I would even say it's a little advantage on the competition.
Sure, it is. So you have, as you said, 2 races per driver per weekend, except from one race weekend, which is this year Van Ray, the only oval in the calendar. And you have the semifinals and the finals, which are rewarded with double points.
Exactly. I think that's also super cool. Gives a little bit that American style. So at the end, for the final, normally with the double points, there's no one from the 10th or let's say 11th place who can still catch you to win the championship. Normally, you have about 4 to 5 drivers at the end to really fight for the championship.
But you could, let's say, from the top 5, completely turn around the championship outcome. Yeah. In even 2 races or 4 races.
Yeah, that's right.
So now that we know everything about the EuroNascar, let's have a look at Gil's first half of the season.
Yeah. I love fucking making tracks though, Jesus.
Ay, I'm just on it, I'm ballin', I'm back on my shit like I'm Christopher Wallace. They wanna tell me that I wanna make it, I tell them I do it, I'm back and I run it. Homie, you beat me, homie, you beat lead, but I do it just what I wanted. Honestly, they wanna tell me I quit, they wanna tell me I wanna keep on running to the league though. Homie, they see I'm a beast though. I be so elite though, I be just present on beast though. I be activating my coach, my G's though. I be on a different level, that is something that you're about to see though. As I'm running, I'm at it, and when it comes down to it, I'm an addict. I love this, it's precious, it's me dog, my passion, my life work. I get this, I do it, I have it. Been crafting my habits, that's late nights, that's madness. That's madness, that's what I know. I tell these people I'm being a millionaire, they're like, oh, why does it matter? We don't just really seem to know. Financial freedom is on my list, I'm bleeding, bro.
So Gil, as we have seen in this recap, there have been lots of ups and downs during those 7 races. How happy are you with the first half of the season?
It's kind of okay. I know I'm not too far behind now on the points. And as you just mentioned, some up and downs. But I think when there was no mistake, no crash, I was always able to claim one step on the podium. So actually I'm happy, but could be a little better in points.
The season kicked off in Valencia, started quite well for you, was very strong. P1 in the first practice session, also fastest. You managed to claim pole. Race number 1 didn't went that well and you couldn't turn it into a victory. What went wrong?
Yeah, first race, I think, that's... I think for this year, the most asked question is what went wrong in the first race in Valencia. But I think I mentioned it already several times. It was just stupid contact. I'm still on my point that I did nothing wrong. I just got kicked out of the race, had a puncture, lost all the points. I knew I had the speed, and I knew also I could easily win that race because the speed was there. In free practice, I was half a second faster. My qualifying lap was super good, and that was the only chance that the competition could get me out.
So obviously not to start into the season and the first race you wanted to have. How did that affect it? I mean, the rest of your day and how you prepared for the next day?
Yeah, I think end of the day is like you get out of the car. It is what it is. So you look forward for the next race. And then at the end, it turned actually very good. I had the fastest lap also in the first race, so that gave me the pole position for the second race. I start, finish, win. I think there was nothing more to do.
Yeah, like you said, Sunday was a copy-paste situation from the previous day. You again on pole, Martin again next to you on P2, going into that first corner. What was going through your head? Because it was basically the same situation, but you managed to come out of turn one in first position.
Yeah, like in the race, I was for sure not thinking anymore. But it's always a little strange when you know, okay, there could be exactly the same situation, but I had a phenomenal start. I went in a little in front of Martin, so I tried to manage just like to have a safe spot to not have again a puncture. And I think after turn 2, when I had my little gap, I just try to save the tires and still have the speed that no one can attack me. And I think at the last 5-6 laps, I was just pushing a little bit more. I knew I can just destroy the tire now, and had my safe gap if there would be something on the track to just win the race.
Did that specific race weekend change the way you prepare? I mean, from that day on, how you prepare your race weekends, or was that just a stupid incident and you keep going like before?
For sure, I think I came super good prepared in that season, and like unluck or these contacts and having a puncture, you can never really plan it, or you can never really say, okay, that changed me as a person, that changed now my driving style or whatever. So it actually didn't change anything. I'm still kind of hard on myself for the preparation for the races, and sometimes it works out, sometimes
So from that weekend, we went from Spain to Italy. A nice weekend we had there. Results were also good, but we had already a lot of discussions during the Thursday's driver's briefing. What exactly happened there?
Yeah, for me, like we start a season, there is so much time to prepare a season for everyone. And then you come from Valencia after our crash, you come to Vallelunga, and they just want to change the rules. So actually not they changed the rules. So we came, and then they say, we have the start, like rolling start, 2x2. And they changed, normally it's just like where it starts, like the start line, you get the green flag, and then you just race. So now you get the green flag, but there is, after the starting line is a control line, and you are not allowed to overtake under this, before this control line. And it's actually, for me, it's still a stupid rule. Like, I understand it in America, in ovals, where normally the pole position has the inside line, who is just short away in the oval, so that the guy on the outside line beats the guy on the inside line is mostly impossible. And we do it now on the road courses. First, it gives you a tool to cheat. So if you don't go full throttle and the guy on P2 is beating you, he will get the penalty. What's super dangerous for the finals, because in the finals you really start playing games. And for me, there was just no point, and it's still no point.
So you don't fully agree with that rule change, even with what the organizers said that it would be safer. You don't agree with that? Yeah,
we saw how safe it was in Vallelunga. First race, turn 3, 5 cars out of the race, because you are just like, you get so close, you cannot start. And for me, the leader always has to have the advantage on the start. So give him the advantage, but don't let him, don't give him the opportunity to cheat, or maybe don't go full throttle, because we had that rule already. And what happened is, when you have the leader who is starting the race and he's not full throttle, maybe the reflex is not the same than the guy behind. So imagine the first line is not 100% on point. It's half a second missing on the reflex. The guy behind, he needs already to back up a little bit. The third line, fourth line, fifth line, they have no clue. And then the sixth line, they're running into each other because they think, oh, we go. Oh, no, actually, we don't go. And it's always a mess. And we had so many crashes in the past. Then they went to the rule. So there was for sure an idea to come to the rule we had 2023 that we had in Valencia. And now we come back to a rule that actually was changed because of incidents. So I don't know. But
basically, you are saying that the organizers just opened Pandora's box to cheating and
100%.
turning completely the race into something that can be controlled or manipulated by the first row.
And I actually was super unlucky also in Vallelunga, because we had, when you come on a restart, like after the crash, you come into a restart zone. In the restart zone, it's like the leader still has the lead. Then there is the green flag coming, but in the restart zone. So what happened again in Vallelunga, and it happened so many times, it's that we were even not in the restart zone, and they gave us already the green flag. So some guys were already like, oh, it's green, let's go. And like I was the leader at that point, and I was like, no, I'm not in the restart, so actually I cannot go. And Martin, he was already going. He was actually just super lucky that he was not catching me on that control line. And and that was for sure after they said, okay, but the guy with the green flag, he just went out with the green flag too soon. But okay, it's a championship. There's a lot of money involved. There are a lot of sponsors, a lot of people. And then we already on the start, we play already some rules and new rules, and we change, and we have someone with the flag who can do a mistake. Like, come on, it's a professional series. That's not allowed to happen.
It is. So except from those discussions on Thursday, Vallelunga was a quite successful weekend for you. You claimed pole one time and brought home P2 in both races. How was the feeling of that weekend for you?
Also good. Like I knew I came there to win. I knew the pace was there after the free practice, so qualifying again went super good. And for sure, then with that new rule, let's say the pack was much closer together. We went into turn 3. There was a super small contact with Capelli, and big crash. I actually had not a big issue. My car was out of alignment, so my front left tire was turned a little bit in. But what for sure costed me also a lot of speed, and also put me out of the position to fight for the victory. But all in all, I was lucky to get out. Capelli had a big crash with Schober, so there were a lot of guys super unlucky crashing into each other for actually not a big deal.
He was unlucky to get to the other side of the curb and spinning back out on track.
Yeah.
So something that is important to mention is that, okay, you managed to claim P2 twice, which is a good result, but your teammate Martin, he managed to win both races, which puts you in a situation where you lose points to him.
Yeah, for sure. Like he won the races. He won one race in Valencia, so he got maximum points out of it. For me, it was just impossible. I had this car a little bit out of alignment, so just to attacking and really try to stay with him was impossible. So I was at one point even focused to not lose positions to the back. And as soon as you try to defend something, you cannot defend an attack. It's kind of difficult when the guy in front, like this race, Martin, didn't do any mistake. It's just impossible then. So I was happy with P2, and then for sure Sunday you think, okay, new day, let's go. But after 5 laps I knew, okay, my tires yesterday, I really tried to survive, to really push, and then I didn't have the tire. I don't know how good he managed the tire, but for sure better than me, because also Sunday he was just a little faster than me. And if the guy is not doing any mistake on a big track like Vallelunga, even if there is a small mistake in the technical part and you still have the speed on the long straights, it's so difficult then to overtake.
Vallelunga was also a very special weekend because the Grand Marshal was one of a very good friend of yours and also a musician, Loco. He stayed the whole weekend with us at the place that we rented. He stayed with the team. How was that for you, having somebody that cheers for you and is there the whole weekend just for you and also as Grand Marshal for that race?
Yeah, for me that was actually super cool. So Loco and myself, we have the same manager in America. So the deal came together, like why not having Loco here? He's a big celebrity in the African musician market in France. He's super known. A lot of Luxembourgish people just went to his concert a week ago.
Yeah, they did.
So yeah, to have a big celebrity like him from a complete other industry than racing with me, it's like super, super cool. And having him there as a Grand Marshal was like even on top. It's just so special when you have the Grand Marshal, even as a driver, you're 100% in the focus, you're already there. And then hearing a voice that you actually know, that gives you just something else. And for sure also staying together in the house and everything just gives you really that really nice racing feeling out of the car that you need as a driver.
The thing that was super cool was he was the guy who handed you both times the trophy on the podium.
Yeah.
And that was super cool.
Yeah.
So Loco, if you are watching this podcast, feel free to get in touch, and we'll soon have a third seat here. Just join the discussion. So from Italy, we went to the UK for the American Speed Festival. Atmosphere was great. Quali went also good. You managed to claim P2, but the first race didn't turn out that well. What happened there?
What happened? Did I start actually P2? I don't remember. I think I was even...
I think it was P2.
Yeah, you're sure?
I hope so.
I hope so. Because maybe, yeah, can be that I lost at the first. I have to check, actually. I'm so bad in my future results. But
just talk us through the race. I will check that.
yeah. Because in the race, I remember there was like in lap 1, there was already contact between Crassonis and... I know, actually, that was Sunday. Sunday was the crash.
The crash with Martin was
on right.
Sunday.
I was P2. I started P2, stayed kind of the whole race in P2. And I remember like 5 or 6 laps to go. I was not able to really shift the gears anymore. And there was one corner, like the downhill corner on the left, where you really need a second gear. And I was not getting into the second gear, stayed in third gear. And the guys behind me were the whole race pushing. They got me in that corner, so I had to go to the outside, actually off the track, that they didn't have to run into me. And just pulled back behind them, and it was P5 or P6 even.
It was P5.
P5, in the end. Yeah. So actually a day to forget, but that happens.
So also the thing is that you had just limited time of qualifying because of that piece that we have just right behind me. Because Liam had a technical issue just before your qualifying. Yeah. So it was one timed lap you had.
One timed lap I had, yeah. It's actually, I understand that's our program, but Liam, he's doing the qualifying. And then I have to take like 10 minutes after he's coming in with the car. I jump in, they will adjust the seat and everything. Maybe we put a little bit of fuel, and then I can go out. But with the technical issue of Liam, the guys had to be 200% into it to get it done in time, because if you don't have a lap time, you start as the last. And I was able to get one lap, so I think my job was actually good done. I think if you have one lap, you get able to put everything together for one lap, and you can still start in the front row. I think it's not too bad.
So race 1 was not the result you were looking for, which gave you P5, I think, in race 2. Start of the race was quite good. You went from P5 to P2. Exactly. How is that possible in just a few corners?
Yeah, there was a lot of trouble, and I knew that we have the grip on the outside line in turn 2, so I just went actually for the outside line. So I was just outbraking everyone on the outside line, hoped that there was still grip, and there was grip. And then I saw that the guys on the inside line was just like bumping into each other, so I could actually just follow my line. Martin went together with Capelli, so they both went out of the track. And for me it was just, I could just easily manage to go from the outside to P2. And then I had Davidson, he's from the UK, so he was the guy to beat.
Yeah, he was
this
super
weekend.
fast that day.
Yeah, it's his home track. And I have also to say, in the second race, I wanted to push. I wanted for sure that win. But at one point when I knew, okay, Martin, he's not recovering from the incident, I knew, okay, it's also maybe now time to think about the championship and just stay behind him, don't do stupid moves, and just try to get the points for the championship.
So the idea was to manage your pace, don't force for P1, because that would mean losing points in the worst case, and you just brought home P2, which gives you good points to in the championship compared to Martin, who didn't end the race.
Yeah, and also Davidson, he's for now not one of the guys who can take the championship away from me or from Martin, just from the points. So I knew, okay, if he's taking a little bit more points because the winner gets 5 points more than the second position. So I was like, okay, I prefer giving him those 5 points than now fighting and taking the risk to maybe losing everything.
With just one more race to go to the summer break, we went to the Netherlands for the only oval in the calendar. You raced on an oval before because you took part in the NASCAR ARCA series at the beginning of the year. How was the preparation on such a familiar terrain?
Actually, there was no big preparation, so we are not allowed to go testing here in the ovals. And I had more people asking, oh yeah, but you ran to Daytona, you drove the big Daytona race, so you are familiar with it. But actually, it's like has nothing to do with a short track. It's another car. It's completely different. It's another driving style for sure. But still, I was feeling kind of confident to go there. I knew there's a little bit of experience from my side, but difficult, very, very difficult weekend for me. Not from the pace. Like I knew how to manage. I knew there were some Americans coming over from higher series in America to race against us. So I knew, okay, the competition is there. I know what I can do. I know what the team is able to do. We had a super nice car, but yeah, for sure, didn't end how we wanted.
You started very strong into that weekend. First practice, you had the fastest lap, and in free practice too, you were just 0.02 seconds behind Martin, who had the fastest lap. How did that qualifying feel for you?
Yeah, the qualifying, I had a little bit of pressure because I knew that Martin had also the speed. So there is a little different style to qualify in an oval. So everyone is alone on the track. That changed already. And then you had only, I think it's 850 meter the track. So when one car is done with the qualifying, the next car can go out. So one lap to warm up the tire, then one fast lap, second fast lap, and then you have one lap to drive in again. So you actually have just 2 laps to put a good lap time together. The car was phenomenal, but I just did in the first lap I did a little mistake. So I knew, okay, I'm fastest, but I need to have a little bit more because Martin was just starting after me, and did one little stupid mistake. I was a little too late on the brakes. And then my lap was gone. I think I started
P3.
Third, but that was all on me. That was just one mistake, and tried in the second lap to do it an even little better, and then just overdrove the car and started P3.
I mean, that weekend the worst was yet to come. I think it was around lap 10 or 11. We didn't saw what happened trackside, but we saw you getting slower and coming into the pits, changing tires and dropping down the order to P19.
Yeah, right.
What went wrong there?
So actually, like to take you with me to the start, I had Capelli and Martin, just like one in front of me and one next to me. So I know they are 2 guys. They are really, they're hard race car drivers. So they don't give you room. They're kind of, let's say, aggressive, like the alpha racing guys. And those 2 together for me was like, okay, I leave them together. Maybe they fight each other. They will just heat up the tires. I play it cool, third place. I know it's a long race, so I will just come in the last 15 to 20 laps. So I was in the mood like, save the tires, keep the competition behind you, and end of the race, you just go for the victory. That was the plan. It changed in lap 8 or 9. When I was behind Capelli, so I gave him a little bit of room just to be safe. And he drove over something. It went through the wall and then just into my front right tire. Or was it front left tire, front right tire? Front right tire. And in the ovals, it's very hard. If you get like a slow puncher, you can sometimes still do a little bit. But when the tire goes down, it's like you're turning the wheel from, let's say, 100 kilo to 1,000 kilos. So it's like really super hard to turn. So I was super close to just run into the wall. And did that lap, finished that lap, went in to change the tire, but also on a short track. The competition, if you need 1 minute to change the tire, it's impossible to recover. Even if we have the lucky dog, that's something. So when there is a caution, you can, like the first one who is 1 lap down, he can just drive around the whole field and can go back. So you can actually, if you are 1 lap down, you can come back to the lead lap and you can
catch up with the last one on.
Yeah,
on
but
that
for
lap.
me with 5 laps down, there was really no chance. And yeah, I knew a lot of people say like, oh, what happened in here and there, because no one saw it. But yeah, there was another American guy, he lost the car, went through the wall, and he actually just lost a small part, like the end part of the exhaust. And then it was laying there,
very
EuroNascar, also maybe they didn't saw it, or maybe there was no one from the marshals telling them that there were parts on the track. And they just let us run, and there was,
So not even your spotters saw that there was something.
My spotter saw it at the very end, but like you have, I don't know, it's 170 kilometers per hour. It's the average speed we had. So it goes so fast that there's no chance.
Yeah. So in the end, it was P18. Very disappointing results on a track where you could have claimed victory, or at least very easily a podium.
Yeah.
How did that affect the way you went into the summer break, knowing that you have to come back stronger to beat those guys?
Yeah, actually also didn't, like all those things, they don't affect me, because I know it's a situation, it happens. Sometimes it's just unluck, wrong moment, wrong position. But I think I'm kind of the driver who can leave those problems and these things that happen on the track, you leave and you're still going your path. Like if I would always change my ideas, my path for all the problems that came in my racing career, I think I would not be in the industry at all anymore. So I think I just need to follow. I know what I do. I know my nutrition. I know my workouts. I know the people I have around that I can trust for everything around. And this actually doesn't affect me. Actually at the end, it's just numbers who are missing to catch up with the leader.
So after the summer break, we go to Most. Obviously, Martin's home race. He will be highly motivated to take home 4 wins. 2 of those wins will be against you. What is your plan to change that plan from Martin?
Yeah, for sure, it's to win. Like I want to win. I need to win also for the points. Like he has now an advantage of 35 points. So the leader always get, like just mentioned, five points more than the second position. So the plan is to win. For sure, it's his home track. It's always very difficult to beat someone on the home track just because they were just so many more times there. They know the curbs better. They know the conditions even better. They know the weather sometimes even better. And that gives him for sure an advantage. But I know also if you have a home track, you have the people there, you have the fans there, you have the sponsors there, you take a little bit more pressure into the race. And for sure, I don't have anything to lose in the Czech Republic. And I think he has more to lose right now than me.
So I'm sure everybody's looking forward to the last 6 races, because 4 of those are rewarded with double points, which can change completely the championship. But let's get back to the summer break. You had also the opportunity to do some testing. I mean, you had a few special guests on a few occasions. Tell me, how did that come that you had your first GT3 Cup test, and in a few days you will be sitting in a car for the start of the 24 Hours of Zolder? Yeah,
actually, it's a super cool story. So my chiropractor and how I say it in English, masseur, it's chiropractor, no?
I think, yeah.
Or osteo, I don't know. That is a special name, I think. So the guy who is like taking care of me after the races, just to, like, I always say he's the bone breaker, to put everything back in place for the next races. We were like just talking, say, hey, never did GT3. And then we were like, yeah, like financially it's like super hard to do GT3 races. And then we were just talking. I say, hey, you know what? I have a friend. I will call him. Maybe there is a possibility.
Okay.
So he took the phone, he called him. I said, oh yeah, just send him over. We do a test with him. If he's good, we will see. And so it was actually like at the beginning was a little bit like easy, cool talking. And then he came and said, yeah, I called him. Like, you can really go. I said, sure. And you can go. So I just went to Zolder, did the tests, and was lucky enough now to have the speed immediately in the GT3 car. I had some friends, some NASCAR friends, who say, GT3 is easier to drive, it's easier to handle, and for sure easy is not the right, like it's not the right word to say.
It's different.
I think, let's say it's different. But I felt kind of fast, super confident in that car. Like they have much more grip. The brakes, we have ABS, things like this. It's super special to drive. So I think the lap times were not too bad, and that gave me now the chance to drive for a Belgian team the 24 Hours of Solda. That's actually a big dream for me. Like it was always a dream to drive the GT3 Cup cars, and if you get a chance on that way, it's just super cool now.
We'll keep the fingers crossed for that race.
Thank you.
But mentioning the GT3 Cup, as you said, some mentioned that it's easier to drive. What is the biggest difference to your EuroNascar? I mean, ABS is cool, aerodynamics are cool, but how does the car behave compared to your EuroNascar?
Like now the Porsche it's a big difference from behavior because you have the engine in the back. So the front is not really reacting how you want it. So you have to calculate a little bit the front. So there is not that much grip on the front. So you really have to brake into the corners to keep the nose down to really get the grip to the front. The EuroNascar is really a car that like sometimes it's a little bit like driving a boat. So you come into the corner and you really want to position the car. You want that the bag is loose. You want that the car is sliding a little bit left and right. And I tried for sure this driving style to put it into the Porsche. There's no way. The Porsche is not that sliding car. Like if he's sliding, like the risk to lose the car is like much higher than the EuroNascar. So I just had to adapt a little bit. That for sure, having already pedals, driving without clutch and have to change 4 gears, it's like a whole program for the brain who is not necessary. So you can really be more focused, more precise on braking, on turning in, opening the wheel to get the speed. And for sure the aerodynamics, like I know it was in Solda. So people who know the track, there's before the Villeneuve chicane, it goes like uphill and then downhill. There's like a fast left one. And when you are losing a car, normally you will have like the feeling, okay, let's like back up a little bit or brake even a little bit to get the speed out of the car. But with the GT3 car, you actually, when it starts getting a little loose, full throttle, and you really feel that the bag is like going to the ground, the spoiler is doing the job. And that's the big difference actually from the aerodynamic side to the EuroNascar.
So how hard was it to adapt to a different driving style, knowing that, I mean, this car is like on rails and your EuroNascar is more, I mean, struggling probably into corners because you don't have that aerodynamics. How long did that took you to? Actually,
not that long. I think if you understand those points, it goes kind of quick. And I even would say, maybe also because I'm driving like most of the time EuroNascar, it's if you would take a driver without experience and you would put him in the Porsche GT3 Cup car, he would be faster adapted to race than in the EuroNascar. I think actually the first steps are easier in a Cup car than in the EuroNascar, just because of the braking, no ABS, our tires are completely different. For sure the aerodynamic part gives you a lot of safety in the Cup car. But I think, if you take someone without experience, he feel quicker, confident in a Cup car than, like I always have to say, a Porsche GT3 Cup car. Not that people think the Cup car in America. But at the end, for sure, if you want to go for the last half second, the guys in the Porsche Cup or wherever, they are high professionals. So they really know how it goes, and to be super, super quick with those cars, for sure you need the skills, you need the data, the experience to be super quick with those cars too.
Did you actually prepare for that day? Because we had the day before, we talked about sim racing and what the lap times were, to see if we got close to reality. Was it like in the simulator or was it completely different?
No, actually it was completely different because I was stupid enough to take the wrong car to practice on the simulator. So,
actually you cheated because you took the GT3 car, and
exactly.
I tried
with the
to
Cup
do the
car.
same with the Cup car.
Exactly. So I was a little quicker than you, but I was also actually quicker than my lap times that I did in real life. But I was actually doing the simulator for the shifting parts, like the turning in. But for sure, at the end, I was like, actually, no, it's always the wrong gear, always the wrong point to turn in. But I just practiced with the wrong race car.
Also a way to practice.
Yeah, for sure.
So that day you also had a special guest who visited you for the first time.
Yeah.
Who was it?
That was the US ambassador. That that was also super cool to come together. I had the chance. I knew we have 2 seats in the Porsche, and I'm for over a year now in contact with the US Embassy in Luxembourg, and we did some marketing together, like posting some stories and things like this. So, or actually more tagging them, and they could reshare it and things like this. And I always told them, when I have the chance, I will invite you, and then I let you be part of being on the racetrack and driving around. And yeah, that was my first chance to have a car with 2 seats. So I just let's go, let's do it. It's one chance for me, but I want to share it. And yeah, then organized to bring the US ambassador up to Solda, and it was just amazing.
Yeah, he really enjoyed that ride as a passenger.
Yeah.
But just get back a few months. How did that contact took place? Because, I mean, it's not like you take up your phone, you just call them, I'm driving somewhere in the US and I want to have contact with the US ambassador. How did that contact came?
Actually, I think it's also a little bit press related to Luxembourg, because they are also kind of good connected in Luxembourg. So they knew that there is someone from Luxembourg driving NASCAR in America, but for sure also no contact. And I was just like tagging them on Instagram to show them, hey, now I'm going to America, because I actually didn't have a phone number or whatever. I knew they know that I'm there, and there were other people talking about, one day we need to go and visit them. So I just tagged them, and then I got the message, hey, let's have a chat. And then we chat and how and this, and understanding a little bit what they are doing. They understood what I'm doing, and it came together. And actually we had also like personally a very good connection. So it was actually
because
kind of
he
cool.
also told you a few stories about his nephew, who's also involved in the American part of the EuroNascar of the NASCAR itself.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have the common interests in sports.
Yeah, for sure.
So apart from that test day in Zolder with the GT3 Cup car, was there any other testing you did or preparation that was different to the years before?
Actually, from the testing, not at all. I drove, let's say it was a little bit preparing me for something else. I drove the 25 hours of Spa in the Fun Cup. New car, also a new championship, just to find it out. First time being that long in a race car. That was a little bit also to prepare me just to drive other race cars here in Europe. But for all the rest, no, I did a lot of, let's say a little of, don't want to say business, but I had a lot of plans. I think you saw now the new company that we started with the helmets, that we got actually licensing and everything to do replica helmets in Europe. So that's also a big team that I had to get together. That's not a one-man show that I'm running. Actually more people behind taking care of the business. That took for sure a lot of time. Then the rest was gym, eating. I didn't have a day of holiday. But I don't want to complain. I will go 1 week to Montenegro soon, so we'll be fine.
So will Montenegro be really just holidays, disconnecting completely from racing, or
no? It's actually also a little bit related to business, and for me, disconnected from racing is never an option. So but it will be a little bit easier for me, chilling a little bit and enjoying for sure the good weather here in Luxembourg. That's really something I'm missing this summer.
Well, some rainy days.
Yeah, some is okay.
So I guess your expectations are very high for the rest of the season. What is your main goal? I mean, obviously the championship title, but what are the first steps into that direction?
For sure, most playing cool. See where I will be after free practice. Also to see what Martin is doing, and the guys in the just behind me. They are 11 and 12 points, I think, just behind me. So in one race they could immediately catch me. And then when it goes to the double points, it's fully attack, full risk. It's like I can tell you after Oschersleben if I will be the champion or not. It's just if I survive the 2 races there, and then it goes into the last race in Solda. Then it's open for everyone, for the top 5 guys. And we see what we get out of those races, because double points is big risk, but also big gain if you make a good result.
Yeah, maybe also a little advantage when you put some laps down in the Porsche during the 24 hours race. So in Zolder, you are prepared for that race.
Right.
I think it's time to wrap up this episode. You gave me actually the next topic for the next episode. You talked about marketing. We will discuss during the second episode what it takes to run the EuroNascar championship, preparing it, all the preparation behind the car, graphic design, everything that goes into it, and also America.
I think there's a big thing coming from America, but that can be even a third episode, I think.
So thanks for watching. Thanks, Gil, for being here with me on this podcast. And one last question. What's the most important in a racing-themed podcast?
For me, it would be for sure driver start your engine. But no, just kidding. Most important is to like and subscribe. I think Julia and the whole team, they are putting a big effort into the setup. And there is a lot of podcasts will be produced now. I think there's a lot of things that will come. And for sure, don't miss it. Like and subscribe.